This video is going to show you how to do a ring sling carry with a bigger baby. So this is the stage that you often find you're naturally holding your baby on your hip, like this, usually by around 6 to 8 months. Mums in particular find that they're doing this an awful lot, and all a ring sling is going to do is support you carrying your baby in exactly this position. I'm just going to pop my baby down while I get my sling set up. So I have the ring sling on me already, over the opposite shoulder to the side you want to carry your baby on, with the fabric already spread over my shoulder. You do want to spread it to cup your shoulder joint. If you start off with it all on top of your shoulder, you'll find that the weight will start to pull into your neck. So before you get your baby involved, make sure it's spread nicely. You want the rings nice and high on your body, as close as to your shoulder as comfortable. The higher the rings, the bigger we can make the seat for your baby. And I can show you how to make sure the rings are in the right position as we go later on. To make it easier, it's always better to do as many adjustments before you get your baby as you can. So at the moment I can see that this is going to be too loose. I'm going to tighten all of the sling through the rings until there's only just enough space for my baby. As you do that, you may find that the fabric gets a little twisted in the rings here, and that can make it a little harder to adjust later. So next, just make sure that the fabric is fanned nicely and not too bunched up or twisted in the rings. This one's really lovely and clear to see because of the graduated colours. Now I'm ready for my baby. So I'm going to start the baby higher up on my shoulder than I want them to end up, and that's going to make it easier to get their legs through. I'm going to assume that this is a very wriggly baby, so the way you get them in is you pop one hand up through the sling, grab those wriggly legs and tuck the fabric over them. You can now position your baby wherever feels natural on your hip. Again, we're supporting you carrying your baby in the same way you would in your arms. Because I've already adjusted this, it is almost the right height, but I can feel there's a bit of looseness there, so I'm going to, again, just pull all the fabric through, full width, until it feels like there's a supportive base under my baby. They're the height that I want them to be. At this stage, you can also make sure your rings are still in the right place. So sometimes when people do this adjustment, they find the rings move forwards. Mine have slightly. So I'm going to just twist all of that fabric, rig on my shoulder, until the rings have come up to a nice height again. Now I'm ready to make the seat for my baby. So finding the top edge of the pocket part of the fabric there, it'll be the same edge as the central part of the tail, so you can see again with the same colours which part's which. Bring the fabric up and over your baby's bottom. I'm making sure that I've got a hand at the bottom here to stop all the fabric popping out, so I can make sure my baby's secure. If your baby's able to support their own head and upper back, if they're rolling or sitting already, then this might be the height that you need, just up to their armpits. You can also bring it up and over their shoulders if they prefer to be a bit more tucked in, or if you want a little more support. The fabrics come nice and high up their back. We're ideally looking for about a third of the fabric on the upper back, the middle third of the fabric around their bottom, and then the lower third tucked in and underneath. And this is what's going to make the seat. So at the bottom here where I've been supporting my baby with my hand, I'm going to take that edge and really tuck it right up between us. So I'm almost imagining I'm aiming for the top of my baby's nappy, their belly button height. What you want is for the fabric to tuck right up so the level of their knees being held by that fabric is much higher than their bottom. The position for your baby here, if you imagine, is just like if you were sitting in a deck chair. The bottom's really low, the knees are high, the fabric supports the full back of the body, and it's really difficult when they're well seated in a ring sling for them to be able to get out of it, just like it's difficult for you to stand up out of a deck chair. So that's what you want for your baby. Now just tweaking to make it hands-free. It's still a little bit loose here, so I can feel there's some movement. So I'm just going to adjust the parts I need. So this upper purple part is too loose. I'm gathering all the slack round to the front and then pulling through the rings on that part. It's easier to pull if you pull in the direction that the fabric came from. So pulling this section, it comes this way, and I'm pulling back in the same direction. If I check the rest of my slings, there's a little bit of looseness there. This part comes up diagonally, and so I'm going to pull down diagonally to adjust that. And then continue along the width of the fabric until there's no slack. You'll find that for each person, because your shape's different and your baby's shape is different, there'll be different parts that are loose when you first put it on. You may always find you need to adjust a lot in the middle or the bottom. I always find I need to adjust a lot more at the top. You want to feel, once everything's fully adjusted, that it's completely secure to let go. You can move around comfortably and your baby is very securely held against you. Ring slings are very intuitive. If it's at all loose, you just won't feel quite comfortable to let go. So hold your baby in your arm until you do feel that you can let go without any movement. So take them out, super easy. Take your baby back in your arms, find that upper ring and just pull it up towards your shoulder. All the sling fabric loosens and you can lift them straight up and out again.